Hello. How are you doing? Athens. Panathēnea, come on. It's great. We are having such a great, are we having a great time?
It's incredible.
We are having a fucking great time here. I love it. This is going to be twice the size next year, right?
At least twice the size.
Twice the size. Come on, guys, stand up. Come on. Stand up.
Oh, we're all standing. All right, come on, guys.
Congratulations.
Woo!
Congratulations, everybody. It's been an incredible event. You can sit
Take a
down
picture.
now. Right. If we were in, whoops.
You need some help?
Over here.
Let's
I'll move this over here. I can talk to you guys. My name is Mike Butcher. I am a journalist of many, many years. I was with TechCrunch for about 3,000 years. And now I'm doing Pathfounders. So check out pathfounders.com and you will be amazed at our content and our journalism. I have a fantastic panel here today. Wesley Chan in the middle here. A round of applause to Wesley. He is managing director at Felicis Ventures. He led investments in more than 35 companies, Canva, Gusto, Orca Bio, Flexport, Plaid, Robinhood. Insane. Amazing.
Too many
Next
companies.
up, Niko. Niko I can never say your name. He's Greek. He's Greek. Bonatsos is a founder and managing director of Verdict Capital. He was previously managing director at General Catalyst. He's instrumental in Snapchat, Reality Shares, Class Dojo, Paribus, among others, many others. Don Stalter over, everybody. Woo! Wrote the largest check into Deal. Deal, who's heard of Deal? Everybody's heard of Deal. Enlisted numerous executives, key roles, co-founded City Deal, exited to Groupon. He's worked at Airbnb. And now he's doing Sunshine Lake.vc, and Sunshine Lake, a new fund, which he's raising. How's it going? It's terrible. No.
It's enlightening.
It's enlightening. Sunshine Lake, and afterwards, go and ask him where the word Sunshine Lake comes from. Now, ladies and gentlemen, look,
The sunshine has just arrived, right?
it's wonderful. I feel like saying Shakespeare, to be or not to be. We are going to talk, everybody, about finding founders first. Now, one of the issues in venture, in entrepreneurship, is that it's always the first money in. Everybody's always talking about the first money in, right? But we were thinking, it's something earlier than that. It's finding the founders first. So Nick, what do you hear when you hear the phrase first money in?
You know, it means many things. It means like I'm the first institutional investor, the inception investor. I'm like the first professional investor, friends and family, angel investor. There are a lot of suitcase terms when it comes to like what it actually means. So we at Verdict tried to simplify it and say first money, because first money, there's no other money before the first money, right?
Is there a lot of groupthink going on right now? Because it's all AI. What about finding the founders who are different, Wesley?
Oh, I mean, like, I did the check into Canva. 111 people said no to them, right? Like, everybody was like, oh, it's like a print shop in Australia with a founding team that were romantically involved. Like, 111 people said no. Mel kept a log of everybody that met her and said, I'm sorry, you're too far away. We don't get what you do. We think Microsoft is going to beat you. We think Adobe is going to be the one that like you can't beat, right? And then like she basically said, I can't raise the money. And then like on the Series A, well, I sort of sat there and I was like, my goodness, you remind me of Larry and Sergey, because I got it's an amazing chance to work with Larry and Sergey. I was Sergey's chief of staff for 5 years. There were about 100 people when I joined Google. And so I just sat there going like, you have a clear vision. You know what you want to do. I don't care if you're in Australia. I don't care if it's a print shop. And so we just sort of sat there and said like, okay, we'll back up the truck. We'll write your Series A. And Canva has a monopoly today, right, on their platform that they sort of do design work. Every kid under 35 is using it for their work or their homework.
But there's also, because of the way that we all know the way that VCs operate, don't we? They see something that other VCs are interested in, and they hunt in packs, basically.
It's an echo chamber.
So Don, I know that you were actually, this guy was in Europe, German wife?
German wife, East German wife.
So he went to Bergheim and got fucked up in Bergheim. No, kidding.
You know anything about that?
I don't know. I've got no pictures. They're all the pictures of me. He spent a lot of time in Europe. And one of the problems, sometimes we have a little bit of a, we're in Europe, we're not from the valley, blah, blah, blah. How do we stand out to guys like you?
I mean, I think if I look at Europe, the focus on engineering and on tech in university and even before university is actually something that's completely underrated. Focused, on kind of understanding AI at an early age, people training with their friends, learning how to hack. That's something that, you see in Europe day in, day out as much as you do in Silicon Valley. So, travel to London, travel to Prague, travel to Paris, it's there. But people don't broadcast it as much. And there isn't the same level of storytelling. And oftentimes, when a European founder comes to Silicon Valley, they're considered to be maybe too deadpan or too direct. And this kind of goes back to the kind of echo chamber concept where everybody's thinking the same way and there's groupthink. But actually, if a European founder raises their hand, they can be as successful as, your average US founder.
Wesley, you invested in something called Cash Cats. And Cash Cats actually became quite a successful company, didn't it?
Yeah.
So tell us the story.
Oh my goodness. So look, there's these two founders that we met at a pool party of all things. They were Stanford students at that point. And they said, we're building this company. It's going to be an algorithmic hedge fund trading platform. We're going to go get all this data and figure out how to trade and help traders better understand the markets, right? Then they can make bets on this. And then they actually showed up with cats. And they said, the company's called Cash Cats. I'm like, ooh, what are we doing here? So, but they're really smart kids.
So what happened to them?
Well, I think they became Robin Hood.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so you never know where this stuff comes from, right? You just need smart people. And nobody wanted to write the check at that point. Everybody was like, I don't get this company. It's two kids holding cats.
But do you feel, sometimes founders what are the elements of a founder that you guys are looking for that make them, you think, this is somebody I can work with longer term, maybe they're not necessarily, the most exciting,
They've got to have a psychological kind of twist, something that happened to them, something that impacted them where they tell a story around it and then it infects other people.
You're looking for damaged children.
You're looking for absolute damage, brain damage, doesn't even matter, car crashes, they get fired from their job, they come from a civil war situation, sometimes there's something extremely special about those people.
Niko,
I think we're also looking for freaks. It's especially in Greece. We have Yannis Adetokounmpo, who is a Greek-Nigerian guy, grew up in Greece, humble beginnings, and then he was playing for a second-tier team here, not even in the main basketball league. And the guy the next year showed up at the NBA, and then a few years later became a 2-times MVP back-to-back. So if you're a freak in the startup context, what does it mean? You're somebody that one day goes by, you learn, mature, you make the progress that it takes the average founder CEO at least 2 weeks. And in the AI era, this is even more pronounced because with all the awesome tools, you can do so much more damage, as a team of couple of people with the first money round.
Don, you also helped Deal get off the ground. You helped recruit early executives and brokered some of the early partnerships. Do you think investors should help be like company builders as well?
It's the most fun thing you can possibly do. It's so rewarding because you really connect with the founders that way. If you don't, you're really just an asset picker is my perspective. And we had the good fortune of actually hosting the Deal team in our office in San Francisco for the first 6 months after we invested. And I learned so much in the process, and I feel Shuo and Alex and the team there are absolute prodigies. So we've been able to kind of apply that same playbook to businesses like Kalshi over time and others that we've backed.
Well, what about what's going on right now? The AI is sort of compressing the startup fundraising cycle. Teenagers are getting big rounds, crazily enough. And it's sort of flipped into a different stage now. How long is that cycle going to last, do you think? Anyone? Wes?
Let's think about it, right? I've been through a dot-com crash. I went through mobile. they're all bubbles. There's all these things where like all this money flows in. Then you have 100 investors that say, oh, I raised $10 billion. Let me go invest in mobile companies, .com companies, grocery delivery, scooters. Like there's always a trend. Niko and I have been through so many crazy trends where we sit there going like, wait, scooters are the hot thing now? And he's like, oh my God, everybody's in scooters. I mean, AI is useful, but if there's hundreds of billions of dollars going in, like you're going to get a lot of companies that are not going to make it, right? So we kind of sit there and go, what are the companies that make it? Where's value going to be held? People forgot .com crash happened, and Google was the one that rose from the ashes and became the winner, right? Mobile wound up like sort of being this thing where everybody put money in, and there's very few independent mobile companies that are left, right? It's now part of everybody's business. Everything went back to the incumbents. So we kind of look at for sectors, life sciences. We do a lot in life sciences, right? People are going to get sick no matter what. People are going to need drugs. People forget that GLP-1s, right? Ozempic returned the entire GDP of Denmark for all of 14 years. So we look for these companies that are off the beaten path, that are curing cancer or doing something else, and then we go pile a bunch of money in, and if it works out, we like make a ton for our LPs. So that's what we're looking for. This is crazy, right? Everybody's chasing AI. I'm chasing GLP-1s.
You're
You
both
look pretty good.
Well, thank you.
You're both doing new funds. How are you using AI internally to find those founders? Using big data, using agentic tools. What are you doing, Niko?
I mean, it's great to have some AI partners instead of real partners.
Right.
It kills all the politics, right?
Does that mean founders have to behave differently online so they can get into your data set?
Well, sometimes I think all of us are suffering a little bit from that because we receive a lot more email and inbound than ever before that sounds kind of like the same or pitch perfect.
No. Everybody's using AI to generate pitch emails now. I get like 1,000 emails a day going like, ooh, a hello name, and then like you sort of get the AI-generated ChatGPT one. They have all the dashes in there.
I think I got one that was addressed towards you yesterday.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Yes, did it have a lot of dashes?
It looked a little bit the same, right?
Yeah. Yes.
John, how are you doing it?
I think one of the biggest problems is compute. The amount of kind of data that we're trying to process to find founders is insane, and we run out of tokens every single time we try to run through a large enough set. So you really are trying to find a needle in a haystack when you're trying to find that next deal or that next Kalshi. And when you run things through Claude or you run things through any of these platforms, they slow down. They slow down over time. So let's watch them kind of build out the GPUs and the compute, and things will smooth themselves out.
I'm old-fashioned. I don't use AI to find companies, right? People tell me, like, oh, you should go, this might be the next Canva, you should go check them out, and then I'm on the next airplane. AI doesn't get on an airplane.
Does competitive advantage become things like going to a bunch of conferences and meeting people in real life?
I think you need to do things differently, right? Because like today, if you're like 22 years old, you're in San Francisco, you're technical, you're doing something in AI, you check your mailbox, boom, there's a seed term sheet. You're 18 years old, there might be a Series A term sheet. You must be really good. Whereas, if you're somebody who is like 40 years old, you're very commercial, researcher, but unfortunately for you, you're somebody who is not building something in AI, tough luck. Nobody wants to meet you. So I think sounding different, looking different can make a hell of a difference because there are 20% of the VCs, like Don, Wes, myself, who are looking for those people because for anyone who's doing the very early stage stuff, it's not about what's hot today. It's about what could be, hot in 2, 3, 4, 5 years from today.
Yeah, you've got an entire stage here of people that were at big funds before who are spinning out and creating their own fund because there's a lot of groupthink in VC right now. Everybody's mimetic. If you're in a big fund, everybody sits there going, what's the next AI? What's the next open AI? What's the next Anthropic we have to be in? And if you're spinning out, you have to go create something that you're not chasing somebody with an $8 billion term sheet going like, okay, oh, can you invest in us? It's the same thing.
Yeah, AI is a tool, right? I mean, it's something that everybody should be using by hook or by crook. And if you look at kind of any business, that's worth its salt, it's reskilling its workforce to use AI in various ways. And so businesses that kind of vaguely go out and just pitch that they're AI or they're doing AI, like maybe they are doing something interesting, but oftentimes to me it's just kind of a black box. I just want to know what problem set people are working against, or what's the end market, or why do they actually care?
Niko and I started our career. You were at GC, I was at Google Ventures, and we started.
GCGV.
Yes, too many G's. We were at these funds, and everybody was chasing mobile then. Do you remember this? It was the mobile craze. iPhone had just come out. Oh my God! Like we had Zynga, we had all like Supercell, we had all these mobile companies. Most of them don't exist anymore. Like everybody just put mobile into their business, right? United Airlines and all the banks are not like using a separate mobile company to create what they're doing. It's part of their business today. all the value went back into the incumbents. You don't like see 1,000 different mobile companies existing like you would see 1,000 AI companies. So you got to be thoughtful about how this market plays out.
Now, it would be remiss of me, ladies and gentlemen, with these very smart investors on stage, not to ask them a couple of questions about where they think things are going next. Now, you could be a kid in San Francisco building a company, or you could be a kid in Athens building a company, or South Africa, or God knows, Kazakhstan. So the tools are available to anyone right now. So interesting. But we've seen the rise of LLMs, and now we're seeing a new phase, recursive intelligence, ineffable intelligence, taking physical AI, world models. Give us your quick takes on where you think, where's the puck going to move next? Niko.
I do think that consumer internet is coming back. Like, we haven't seen much in that space for like quite some time. And now we have a whole new generation of builders who grew up building stuff online from a very young age, playing Minecraft, building stuff on Roblox, graduating to Fortnite. Now they have all these creativity superpowers with the AI tools. They can speak TikTok, they can speak Discord. They've been using ChatGPT for the last 4 years if they go to school to do their homework. So those people are native in building stuff for their own generation, because every generation deserves their own consumer massive destinations and brands. So I think that's coming back.
Okay, Wes.
I actually think people are going to find new drugs. Like, this is the thing. We all have these diseases. So far, we've made
You want
very
new
little.
drugs?
I love new drugs. Who doesn't want a cure for cancer? Like, do you want this disease later on? I don't want it. So we find these great drugs, and AI is going to help find them, right? The only problem is AI is going to find too many different drugs, and so you got to go find a way to get them. You still got to test them in humans, right? There's clinical trials. There's going to be a lot of change on how people find great patients and match the drug to you, right? Because today, if you have a disease, we give you a drug. We don't know what the right drug for you is, and we experiment on you, and you become a guinea pig, even if there's 50 different drugs.
You can even take the drugs yourself.
So
Well, some people in Silicon Valley would be happy to do it, right?
Yes, there's something in life sciences that will change because of what's happening today, and we're behind it. So,
Don.
I'm excited for companion robots, like a world where people kind of within this loneliness epidemic are able to actually interact with robots on a human level, and maybe it's the wedge is kind of young kids, maybe the other wedge is older people, but the ability to kind of talk to that robot who's also your Meals on Wheels delivery person and specify what you want on the menu and actually have some sort of a conversation. I think it's a reality. I think it's also kind of Black Mirror. A lot of people are like, what the heck, what the hell, that's so scary. But I think there's a dumbed down element, there's an approach that can be taken on that front that's actually going to be beneficial to humanity.
Robots and loneliness, ladies and gentlemen. I'm afraid I don't think that's a very good combination. I'm not sure we can talk about that in polite society. However, SpaceX IPO, good or bad?
Insanely good.
Crash the market?
I think it's a Robin Hood kind of retail investor fave, and I think it's just going to be out of control. How many retail investors, kids, anybody who's a fanboy of Elon Musk is going to want to be a part of it.
Isn't it going to crash everyone's 401k? Wes?
I'm not following it.
You're not following the IP.
It's kind of irrelevant. Contrary, everybody. I'd rather have new drugs than weird colonies in Mars.
Huh?
I'd rather have new drugs than weird colonies on Mars. So we'll see.
Okay. What do you think? SpaceX IPO.
It's 20 years in the coming. It's like 5 companies in one, generational founder. I think great news for everyone all around. Absolutely. And
everybody's
for those who are like in the very beginning.
Hands up.
Great time.
If you think SpaceX IPO is going to be amazing, put your hand up. If you think you're worried, put your hand up. Ooh, nobody's committed, guys. Get some commitment.
Your questions are really hard. You're making me sweat, I don't know if it's you or the sun. I don't know.
Guys, Elon is listening. Okay, back to founders. What was your fastest yes to an investment and why? Niko.
Fastest yes was a couple of nights ago. I was heading to a dinner here in Athens for a pre-Panathēnea event. My co-founder, Michael Furtick, asked me to chat with the founder to figure out if she or he was a freak. After 10 minutes, I was like, absolutely, they're a freak. Because the rate of making progress over the last 2 days since we started chatting with them was insane. First meeting for me.
I think it was this company called Zipline that was doing robots.
Zipline.
Yeah. I met the founder, and I'm like, wait, you're dropping blood off of a drone? And he's like, yeah, like people need to like cure diseases, and they're not getting blood today. And
How did that, was that a week, a day?
that's like 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. When we see a founder that's exceptional, we're like, okay, what do you need?
A founder who I backed previously, who sold his business to Open Door for $50 million and executed incredibly well in that business, came out to raise another round, and I pre-committed to it. I didn't even need to talk to him. He did such a great job with that previous business, and he didn't sell it for enough money, so he had a chip on his shoulder and wanted a grand slam on his second business. So it was an absolute no-brainer.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've
Are you
hoped...
pitching?
Huh?
Do you want to do a free pitch?
We're going to do a picture?
Now's the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that has been interesting to you. I hope we got you woken up. We're now going to give it up, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, stand up, everybody. Stand up. Give it up for Niko Bonatsos, for Wesley Chan, and for Don Stalter, and for me, Mike Butcher.